Hi, Linda Fussell here. I thought I wanted to just capture some of my thoughts and feelings, maybe emotions that have been happening over the definitely last couple of days, but last couple of weeks really, as we are heading into the reality of lockdown. So it's Wednesday night now, Wednesday the 25th of March, which means in the UK we've been in lockdown for 2 days. And it's been really interesting to see how things have changed and how things feel different. A week ago, many businesses were asked to set up work from home scenarios, and that's been new for lots of people. There's been lots of sort of, I want to say, excitement. I don't know if it's really that, but people working from home and getting used to using online conferencing and just doing things differently. Then on Friday the schools were closed, and we were asked to keep our distance from each other. And then over the weekend we've had the most beautiful spring. The spring days over the last couple of weeks have been absolutely stunning, which is really interesting on the basis that it's pretty much, I don't say it's rained non-stop since September, but back in September, when in Harrogate we hosted the UCI Road Cycling Championships, from that time, and we'll never forget that, because from that time the rain started, and those pictures were broadcast globally of cyclists battling with the rain and the flooding and all the rest of it. It hasn't rained non-stop, but that unprecedented level of rain raised the water level and water table, and we've had pretty consistent rain since then, regular rains, to the extent when the flooding happened. Well, we had 3 storms in February, so flooding happened in February, and then everything just went crazy. There was nowhere for the water to go, and so it just flooded extensively. So from a UK perspective, we've had a very odd, I want to say, few months into February, which was dire for so many people, and then we headed into March, and spring arrived, and it's been glorious. The birds were out doing their thing. They've been amazing, and the weather has turned glorious. So just going back onto that, we then have, please keep social distancing and keep yourself safe. The coronavirus is here, and there was this request of everything that we needed to think about. But the beautiful weather encouraged everybody to get outdoors, and crazily enough, I think everyone thought that going into countryside or remote places, or the National Trust properties which had been opened to provide spaces for people to get out, just seemed to just draw everybody out, and we ended up with unprecedented crowds. So the scenes of the numbers of people on Snowdonia, in all the beautiful places in the countryside, just caused absolute havoc and pandemonium. Completely went against everything about keeping distance, social distancing, and preventing the spread of the virus. Trying to flatten the curve is the saying that we're all trying to look at. So on Monday night, the Prime Minister announced that we needed to go into lockdown and we all needed to stay indoors, and that was it. We needed to stay inside. We can go outside for we can go out once a day to exercise, and the only other times we can go out is for essential work and occasional shopping, and really it's occasional shopping. So where has that left I just say us as a nation, but just I'm not going to focus on that for the moment. Where's that left me? I have been a home worker, for want of another term. I have worked from home, from this office, for pretty much for 5 years. I absolutely love it. It's something I have always wanted to do, something I value, something I really enjoy. I do and have done travel to client sites for various training courses that I run, or when we're working on innovation programs, etc., I will spend a couple of days a month, maybe a couple of months, maybe on site. But most of the time I do everything online. I run training courses online, I engage with change teams, I mentor and coach. I do just about everything online, and I love it. So we arrive in a situation where now everyone's working from home, and last week I was feeling, I don't know, things felt odd. It was definitely a different scenario. Nothing had really changed from me, but everything had changed. And I found that particularly at the beginning of the week was a bit, really struggled to get moving. So Monday, Tuesday were very odd days. I think it was the reality of the coronavirus is here in the UK, and everything we've been seeing across China and Italy and Spain and other places, Iran, Iraq, across other places in the world where it was actually happening here now. And I think at the same time I started listening to news broadcasts. So I have not listened to the news for a couple of years. I made a conscious decision that I wasn't interested. I was tired of the noise that was coming out of the news, and it didn't do me any good, didn't serve me, didn't serve my purpose. If I want to hear something, I'll go and look for it. I'll choose where I'm watching it or listening to it or what I'm doing. I do listen to the news on the radio in the kitchen in the morning, and that is at most 3 minutes, but it really gives you just a complete, in a nutshell, that's what it is, and that's always been good enough for me. But I started listening to news broadcasts, and I think that might be part of where the emotions were going, but it was really quite challenging. And then, come on, Wednesday last week, I got back into my swing of what I needed to do. By now I'd lost 2 days' work and I had so much to do, so I just got back into what I was doing. It did mean that I went into Thursday and Friday, which were absolutely full days for me anyway, that I was really on a roll and things were going. So the end of the week was good. Weekend, I took some downtime, did some things. I didn't go out other than just to walk the dogs, just stayed quiet. Did quite a lot of work, got through a whole lot of things, planned what I was going to do because I used my weekends to do that. Monday morning arrived and I was in a really low spot again. I was intrigued as to what was going on, bearing in mind that I work with people through anxiety and fear and trying to help people determine what they are wanting to achieve in life, and then how to get there and how to overcome our mental blocks. There I was finding myself right in the middle of one of the toughest mental challenges I've had for a very long time. So I observed it. I did all the things I try and tell my clients to do and had a look at what was going on. Went to bed on Monday night, really wasn't feeling great, and when I climbed into bed and observed what was happening, I was acutely aware of the tension in my body. Really was just apparent to me that the level of tension that I was holding in my body. So then I went back into doing my breathing and doing all the things that I would normally do. I got up on Tuesday. I did get onto my yoga mat, but I did a very short session. And this is something else that's been odd. I have done my yoga daily for 5 years, pretty much daily, almost without exception, regardless of where I am. I mean, I recall doing it on the plane flying back from Singapore. I'd gone to bed early, I'd gone to sleep early. I sleep pretty soundly on a plane. I'd woken up before most people were awake and everyone had their masks on, and I was doing a lot of my exercises that I could do while sitting on the plane. So I pretty much do them every day. Times that I can think of that I didn't do them was when I walked the Camino, but then I was actively walking and we were doing other things, and I did do it a couple of times, but I had to find out in my head what was going on that I wasn't doing it, but I worked out that I was doing, my whole day was giving me the feeling that those few minutes on the yoga mat were giving me, so I didn't really need it. So where are we now? I haven't done a full yoga session for probably a week and a bit, and you know what's going on there, and I'm sort of challenging myself on that. What I'm finding, so where I am 10 minutes into this ramble, sorry, I didn't know where I was going to go, what I was going to say on this one. I just felt like I needed to talk about where I am and what I'm feeling. So where I am now is that I am finding that I'm needing to establish new routines. Even though I've done this for years, I'm needing a new routine. I'm needing to stop listening to the news. Absolutely need to stop listening to the news. Be very selective when I do and when I don't. I learned last night that definitely not the 10 o'clock news, because then I end up taking all that fear that's coming out of the news broadcast and wrapping that into my evening, which means it takes me much longer to get to bed and to have a good night's sleep. The other things that I have learnt, that time with my clients, time doing what I think I'm good at doing and what I love doing and what my clients appreciate me doing with them, is what I love doing the most and what is helping me the most. Being able to continue doing the things that I know I'm good at and that I'm adding value to other people has really put my life back in perspective and given me the motivation to keep moving. There's definitely new routines, and I was just talking to a client about half an hour ago, maybe, an hour ago actually, about an hour ago. And one of the things that I found is that I am really enjoying cleaning and tidying, and things that I wouldn't normally see have taken some time, and I've actually enjoyed. They haven't taken a huge amount of time, but I've really enjoyed how I felt while I've been doing them. So the dog food delivery arrived this morning, and it's frozen food that arrives. So I went to put it in the deep freezer as I'd normally do. Open the deep freeze drawer where the dog food goes, and realised that there was things in there that have been there for a couple of years that really never going to get eaten. And it was dustbin day today, so I took them straight into the bin outside so they could go off and be dealt with. And then I looked at the drawer and thought, wow, it's empty, I can clean. So I took the drawer out and went and cleaned the drawer. I'd never cleaned one drawer of a deep freeze. Normally I stop and defrost the whole deep freeze, but nope, took this dog food drawer out, cleaned the drawer, dried it all beautifully, packed all the new dog food into it, put the drawer in. While I was doing that, sort of wiped the front of the other drawers, wiped the door of the deep freeze. I was like, it felt great. Very unusual activity for me, I'll be honest, very unusual. I normally spend all my time here in the study. I focus on the business and delivering value to clients and all the things that I need to do, and some of the things around the house don't get done maybe as often as they could or should do. Certainly don't clean out single drawers of a deep freeze. But it felt good. It really did feel good. I felt grounded, and I was doing something that made my home feel better. And I think that's what we are needing right at the moment. We're spending a lot of time at home. Some of us are alone at home. Some of us are with all our family together at home, trying to work out how we work with our partners in the house, how we navigate having the children around all the time while we're trying to work, children trying to establish how they continue school lessons, etc. So things are different, and doing things together as a family and doing things that make the home life and environment nicer, I think is really important. So there's flowers out in the garden, having some flowers brought into the house, burning some candles. I've always burnt candles. I've found that it always helps with the energy, but just burning one, I didn't burn one today, burning one yesterday just helped clear things, helped clear the air. I cleaned the windowsill in the kitchen just when I came back in after doing the deep freeze. The deep freeze is in the garage, and I just sort of wiped over the windowsill before I stopped doing what I was doing on the cleaning things. And I went back in a little bit later to get another cup of tea or whatever, and the sun was actually shining off the windowsill, and it was like, oh wow, look at that, look how nice it is. It felt brighter, and more than ever what we need now is brightness, we need lightness, and we need to be calm. And again, something I read today which really resonated. The coronavirus pandemic is requiring most of us around the world, I mean, I think the majority of people around the world, many people around the world, are in lockdown of some sort, have been or are going into or are in the middle of. And that there's a number of ways of how do we reframe that? What does that mean? What is our mindset around that? So lockdown says we don't go out and socialise. Okay, so there's no shops and things open, everything's closed. We can get food, but we, that's limited how we can do that. There's a whole range of things around that, and you can go to pharmacies, essential services, you can get dog food and things. There's only a few things you can do. So there's no entertainment with other people out and about. There's no gatherings of people. None of that getting out. But then if you look at it from another perspective, from the thing I saw was saying a Buddhist perspective, but it happens in any type of perspective where we go on retreats. Now, I run retreats, and it hadn't dawned on me. To be honest, it hadn't dawned on me. I think we're all going through so much, and I've been going through it too. I'm human. We're all human, and we're all going to go through it. We are all going through it together. So the thing for me with the retreats is taking people outside of their normal life, stopping all the activity and the noise and the dependency on social media and material things, and just being in nature, just being quiet for a moment, pausing, slowing down, stopping, listening to ourselves, listening to nature, taking time out. And that's actually what we've got the opportunity to do now. We can be frustrated because we can't go out, or we can use the opportunity to just find ourselves, find our own retreat, find our own space, listen to our own heartbeat, listen to our own inner guidance, our own thought processes, and noticing what we're thinking, what we're feeling, how we're reacting, how we're responding to others. There's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anger, those things come up, there's a lot of tears. I've seen a few people who have talked about not being able to do their jobs and how sad that's making them feel. The client I was talking to earlier, it was a between session touch base because she had a breakdown last night and had cried and sobbed her heart out last night, and that's okay. That's very much okay. We are going through a time of releasing, of resetting, of reframing and understanding who we are. So the tears are a release. They are a way of our body acknowledging our emotions and what we're going through. And I think the thing to notice with that is it's less about, oh, I shouldn't have been crying and what's this going, it's happening to everybody, but noticing, how am I feeling? How am I feeling at the moment? And what is this doing to me, to my family? And what can I learn from it? What can I take forward? And how am I going to react? How am I going to support others? How am I showing up? And what am I able to add to my own life, and to, in my case, to my clients' lives, to my family's lives, to my friends, and in the bigger picture, to our society, to our communities, to the people that are essential, our understanding of essential workers. I'll turn the light on. Is really interesting, because this has been changed. Those who earned a lot of money and who were senior leaders, they were the people we respected, the people we looked to for the way forward. And now our essential workers are absolutely declared as our nursing staff, from not just the doctors and the nurses, but our medical care staff, right? Very specifically in there are the people that prepare the meals, the cleaners of the hospitals, the cleaners, the receptionists, the people that are supporting the medical staff, the leaders in those areas, the back office staff that we don't normally see in the hospitals. They're all essential staff. The shopkeepers, the checkout staff, the shelf packers, the delivery drivers, the postmen. There are so many. There are so many essential workers, the care workers, anybody in the care sector. We've had a tendency to leave these jobs of food and care to people that want to do them because they can't get something else, or they're lesser skilled, and actually they're the essential jobs. They're the jobs that hold humanity and communities together. And it's a real reset. It's a real time to revisit and consider and understand what that means. What does that mean for us, for our society, for our values, for who we are, how we look at things, and how we take things forward. I think it's a very interesting and humbling setup and situation. I've been looking extensively as to how I can add value and where I can best add value. And I've got employees, so the thing I need to do is keep the business going. I need to find ways of adding value that can keep supporting the communities of people that need the help that I provide, and at the same time keep the people that I employ employed, so that they can meet their obligations and have a future too. And it's time probably for me to share a lot of the things that I've been doing. It's very interesting. A friend who, we all need to talk to people, and whilst I provide a lot of support to a lot of other people, I have some amazing people who support me. We all need support. I've always said that coaches need coaches. We all need people that we can just offload with. And I was talking to somebody a couple of days back, sometime in the last 10 days, and she was saying that it feels like we've all been getting ready for this time. And I kind of went, yeah, it does. But then things keep happening, and I keep almost getting little reminders of, okay, pull yourself together and get on with it. And it's less about, it's less about pulling yourself together. It's about establishing a new routine, a new acceptance of how to go forward and what life looks like and what this could be like for the next 3 weeks, 3 months, 6 months. I think some of the lessons that we're going to learn are going to take us way forward into the future. But the things that I was looking at, this client that I was talking to earlier this afternoon who'd had this panic attack reminded me that I'd actually produced something for another client of mine earlier in the year on anxiety and anxiety and fear. Actually, it was what the exercise, the thing was. It was an exercise, reducing anxiety, the what, the why, releasing and resetting and enjoying life again. It was talking specifically about managing anxiety, finding calm and confidence, and there were quick exercises to support you anywhere, anytime. And I'd produced this, and I'd kind of forgotten about it, as I do, as I want to. I produce endless amount of stuff, share it all over the place. Some people find it, some people don't. And then I tend to forget about it. Anyway, I was able to quickly find it and send it on to the lass I was talking to earlier today. But I just went back and had a look, and I produced that on the 15th of January. And now's probably the time to share some of the lessons, because in producing that, it's stuff I work with all the time, but in producing the notes that I put together, I'd done a fair amount of research, revised and updated and captured things from a lot of people. So there's real gold dust in there, you know, real value that's in there that I think is useful to a lot of people at this time. So I will be sharing that. I will be sharing a heap of other things that I've been doing. Some people will know that I was planning to launch the Flow Academy on the spring equinox, which was the 20th of last Friday, 20th of March. I didn't launch it then. I ummed and ahed about whether the timing was right and whether people would think I was capitalizing. I've been planning this since, I mean, literally since the middle of last year. I will release it because there's things that are in there that are of immense value, and there's a couple of things on there. One is the things that are in there I think are of value to people now. They were always going to be of value to people now, but they're probably more value now. And secondly, that was part of my business model. It's part of my key business plan for this year. So it was always part of my March actions that were happening, and what was going to be bringing in money into my business, and what was going to be generating value out to the clients in this month, and how much of the rest of the year is framed around the Flow Academy. So I do need to move forward on that. I have revisited most of the content and the videos that I'd done, just to make sure that they, in the light of where we are still relevant, because I had been shooting videos for this literally probably since December, but many of them were in January when I started setting up the site. So I was talking at that time about the coronavirus and things that were happening elsewhere in the world. I was not talking about where we are right now and how things are affecting us right now. So there's so many things that have been happening, and where am I going with this? What are my messages from here? I think one of my key messages from here is be kind to yourself, be kind to others, keep calm. It's really important that we don't listen to the news all the time. We don't get caught up in all the social media. Be selective about what you listen to. Be selective about how you spend your time. When you start your day, start it in a calm way. Check in with you. See how you're feeling. I've always done this actually, but probably not so much. In fact, I have. Even these last few days, I have been. When I wake up in the morning, I lie there, and there goes the dog. We're home. We put a pause on the joys of recording live videos, and you know, this is life. This is life at home, and it's okay. It's all right to to acknowledge this is what happens at home. This is how things work. This is where we are. Settle into the new routine. See how your colleagues, how your friends are coping. The one thing, sorry, where was I? I was actually talking about the morning routine, and let me just go back to that. So with the morning routine, when I wake up in the morning, I pause and I see how I'm feeling. I just check through my body. How am I feeling today? Where are things? And then I look at what's been going on in my head overnight, and what messages are there, what have I got planned for the day, what things are feeling important while I'm in bed, what clarity have I gained, because I always, and I think I can say always, in those first few moments in the morning, first 10-15 minutes, get such clear messages and understanding of what's needed and what I should be doing and where to focus my time, and ways through potential problems that I might have been struggling with. So it's really important to take that time. And then during the day, it is, I believe, the way that we're going to get ourselves through this is to find a routine. So in my normal working from home, I had a very structured routine. I knew exactly what I was doing whenever I was doing it. I was quite regimented about the whole thing. I work from home, after all. It was my home office. I think our routines are slightly different, and we will all be finding new routines in this new way of doing things. New ways of cooking, new ways of creating dishes out of, for me, out of lentils and chickpeas. I've got loads of dried lentils and chickpeas, which I eat a lot of anyway. But it's now finding different things to do with it and different ways of doing things. And spending time doing things for ourselves. We talk about the mental and physical well-being, but there's also emotional and spiritual well-being. And then there's an environmental factor and habitual, the habits that we form. So if the physical activities, I think we're all getting quite used to all the new things that we could do online. So there's loads of activities that we can do through YouTube or wherever. Joe, the body coach Joe, at 9 o'clock in the morning, certainly got the nation up and running and jumping and doing things, which is great. There are lots of people. There's loads of yoga classes online. Interestingly enough, somebody said to me the other day, "Oh yeah, no, you could find a yoga class online." Well, I have been doing my yoga online. Again, probably just under 5 years. So I've been working with an amazing yoga teacher from the States who lives in California. Been working with them for years, so I've been doing my yoga online anyway. So that's no different for me. So the physical stuff, and then getting our daily exercise outside, our daily walk, is really important to get the sunshine on our faces. It is, we need the vitamin D, we need to keep healthy, we do need to get some sunshine, we do need to get out and make the most of the time outdoors. So that's sort of from the physical side, and I'll come back to that, I'll touch on that again just now. On the mental side, we need to be looking at how we can look after our mental well-being. And there's meditation apps, there's so many different things that you can pick up. There is music. I have over the years listened to a variety of tracks on YouTube. There's all sorts of binaural beats and things which I have played in my office while I'm working for years. So there's all sorts of different things you can do for your mental well-being. Definitely need to be looking on our mental side. But then there's the emotional side, and that is just noticing how we're feeling, how we're reacting, how we're responding to others, and knowing that it's okay to feel down, it's okay to feel sad, it's okay to feel angry, but it's not okay to do that all the time, and it's not okay to take that out on other people. It is okay to have those moments. It is also okay to acknowledge that we're human and this is going to happen. This is what does go on. And one of the things with the emotional side is, whilst we have the social distancing, is to connect. So one of the fantastic things is we are actually probably connecting more now than we did before. I know I've picked up the phone and talked to people I haven't talked to for a while, either when I'm out walking or sometimes just giving them a call, which I used to do a lot and I haven't done for a long time. We get wrapped up in our own busy little worlds, and that was what my retreats were about, was taking us out of our busy worlds, and now we are all out of that busy world and into a different reality. So it's connecting with others, it's setting up a group which you can do through Zoom, or you can do it through Google Hangouts or Skype or wherever else you want to do these things. Set up a time where you get together with your mates and have a glass of wine, have a cup of tea, have a coffee in the morning. Just connect with people. And the other thing is to touch. So if you've got animals, spend time with them, touch them, feel that touching. touch yourselves. It's okay to stroke yourself. You know, we are creatures of touch. We do need to feel that. There are loads of exercises and loads of science around how good it feels. So things like rubbing your hands together, creating heat, feeling the heat, and then touching that on your face. Just, you can hold it above your face, hold it over your eyes, and just stroking your face. You know, stroking your face is immensely pleasurable. It's very good for you, and it's emotionally very, very sound. There's a lot of the Tai Chi exercises and Qigong exercises relate to that, where you do tapping on your arm and up and down and on your body. It's great. It invigorates, revitalizes, and makes you feel good. So, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. We need to listen to ourselves. Whatever your spiritual calling is, connect. Whoever, you know, if it's universe, if it's God, if it's a religion, whatever it is, connect. Just be quiet and listen. Listen to yourself. Listen to your inner wisdom. Pray. We all need to pray more. And whatever that prayer looks like, it's a blessing for the. In my world, it's a blessing for the earth, for the planet that we're living on here, through what we're going through the changes that we're all experiencing, for all of humanity, for all of the animals. You know, there's a lot of things we do as humans to society, to animals and the planet, that maybe we're getting an opportunity to revisit. And for all the people that are looking after us now while we are going through this pandemic, they need all the good energy that we can be sending, and the spiritual act of praying or sending out good intentions is needed more than ever. So that's the 4 key pillars. And then I come to environmental. We are in the most gorgeous, in the Northern Hemisphere, the most gorgeous spring time at the moment. Notice it. Really, for the first time in years, we have an opportunity to really notice what is going on. Notice the spring. Notice daily how the buds on the trees are opening. Notice the birds, how they are completely oblivious to all of us humans. They get on with life. They do everything that needs doing. They are very busy making their nests, attracting their mates, singing beautifully, you know, displaying their gorgeous feathers. It's great to watch them. Today when I was out walking with the dog, I saw my first peacock butterfly of the season. Now for me that's quite early, but that's probably because I haven't noticed over the years, for many years. I've noticed this year quite a lot of different butterflies. Look at them, notice them, see them. See the flowers that are out. See the ones that are in the shade and haven't yet opened, whereas there are others that are predominantly in the sunshine that are well out and blossomed. And get into the garden. If you've got a garden, spend time in the garden. I'm really looking forward to that. For the last 2 years I haven't done, because I was either travelling or too busy or had a million other excuses. This year is definitely my year of the garden, and it's a great way for getting exercise, for getting that fresh air, for getting that sunshine, and for grounding. Touching the earth, being in with earth is really important. And if you don't have a garden, if you've got a balcony or even just a window box or a house plant, I've got my house plants here. I've got 3 in the office on the other side of the screen here. Just notice them, spend time with them, tidy them up, you know, take off the dead leaves, water them, feed them. Just spend some time, get that exercise. Just watch nature. My pond is full of frog spawn, which was lovely to see. That there's loads of frog spawn now, and it's a great thing when you've got children. If you haven't got a pond, maybe you can find a bucket or something that you could make a pond in, and you'll be amazed at what gets there, as long as you've got roots frogs and things to get out of the ponds, out of the buckets. That's also important. But there's loads of help online to do that. So you can look on the Wildlife Trust websites, you can look on the RSPB websites, you can look on National Trust has got some things on it, but the RHS and things, there's loads and loads of information out there. So connect, that's environmental stuff, connect. And then finally, habitual. These are the 6 pillars of the Flow Academy, but that wasn't what this was about. It is important to form habits. We need a routine. We need the sun goes down and rises every single day, and the moon goes through its phases, and every 28 days we have a new moon, which I think we've had a new moon just yesterday, somewhere round about now. We're at the new moon time, Aries new moon. These are the seasons. This is life. Everything is everything goes through cycles. Everything has a routine. This is what happens. In spring, the birds are out there singing and finding mates. The butterflies are coming out. The frog spawns in the pond. At night time, the stars, we start seeing the stars. Everything has a routine, has a flow, and we need that. We need that too. We are all part of the earth. So create a routine in your day. If you're doing the 9 o'clock exercises with Joe, that's great online. If you're not, create the time that you're doing whatever you're doing. Have your working hours. If you are studying, if you're a student and you're studying, then try and attend your lectures or your classes live, because it is so much easier to do those lessons live than to try and do the catch-ups afterwards. Again, I was having this conversation with a student client that I've got. A client who's a student. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, a client who is a student, master's student. She obviously at university prefers going to, I've got something in my eye which is really irritating me, prefers going to live lectures. Yeah, wouldn't we all? But she's now, all the lectures are obviously online, but they are live. So the point is to do them live. And she's going, yeah, but she doesn't feel like it, and it gets late, and now she hasn't done any of them today, and so she's got to catch up today's ones. And it was interesting because I was able to see one of my learnings out of that, and that was specifically that when you're at university, you have the opportunity to go to lectures, and as life goes on, you will find more and more that there are things you want to learn, and most of those things you will be doing online. And you will have the opportunity sometimes to join the lessons live, and sometimes you will be picking up recordings. I've been doing this for years because I'm a serial studier, learner. That's what I do. I also just love learning from other people. I love sharing what I've learnt, and it's just the way life works for me. But I was able to say that get used to it, because as you get older, you're going to do more and more of this. And my tip on that is to attend live. If you can attend live, it is just so much more fun. You can interact on the chat sessions, you can ask questions. Sometimes you have the opportunity to not just type in your questions, but you get to speak. So it just depends how the sessions are run. There's different ways of doing them. I run most of my, because I do all my stuff online, that's how I run these things. That's how it works. But it's new for many, many people. One of the hardest things is picking up the lessons that you've missed, and create the routine, create the habit, get in there and do it. Set the time that you're going to do it. Set up the way you would normally do it. So I always get a fresh cup of tea and a big glass of water, like a beer mug of water, and I sit down and I spend the next hour and a half on my, on the live call. Sometimes it's 2 hours, however long it is. And I really enjoy it. And that's become part of my day, and that's what I enjoy doing. But you need to set up that habit to do that. So I've got this call at this time, or I've got this lesson or lecture or whatever it is at this time, and this is what I need in place. I need all my coloured pens all laid out. I need my notepad here, or I need my laptop or iPad or however I'm capturing my notes. I need everything around me ready to do what I've got to do, and I need my tea on the side. Do what you need to do to make it easier for yourself. But also factor in time, and I'm learning this now, this is one of my learnings through this, is factoring time just to be quiet. So I normally watch TV at lunchtime. You know, it's just, I sit down, I don't watch an awful lot of TV, but at lunchtime, when I'm eating my lunch, I do tend to watch the TV. Well, the weather's nice, and it's nice to be sitting out on the step and watching what's going on outside and just enjoying that. But also, it's a calm time. I've certainly felt better today for having done these things. And structure some time in your day where you can do some tidying up, some cleaning, some stuff on your home. I'm considering taking a couple of days out actually, just to do a bit of a tidy up. Maybe it's one day a week, maybe it's a couple of hours a week. I haven't worked out what that looks like, but I know that I really enjoyed today's little moments of cleaning. It felt good. It felt really good doing something physical, and my home and environment felt good too. There was a shine and a sparkle and a joy that it gave me. So that was really good. So this has been a pretty long outpouring, but I wanted to share where I was, and also to share that we're all in this. We'll all be going through a variety of things. Even the people that support you, you know, through coaching or counselling or therapies or whatever, they'll also be going through stuff, and it's okay. We're human. That's how we work. That's how we're wired. We have an opportunity, a beautiful opportunity now, to get out of our heads. We are so stuck in our heads, and to drop into our hearts, connect with others, feel the love, feel the compassion, daily gratitude. I end my day with a gratitude journal. So I write every night 5 things that I'm grateful for in the day. It's a really good exercise. I encourage all my clients to do that, where you just tap in and remember all the good things that happened in the day. It helps you close off your day with the positive messages. And yeah, connect with people and listen to you. Go into the gut. We have 3 brains. We have our head, we have our heart, and we have our gut. Feed your body as healthily as you can. Plenty of water, warm water ideally, and there's a whole reason around that. And it's not what we've been seeing on the coronavirus stuff about washing the things. It's got nothing to do with that. From an Ayurvedic point of view, warm water is very good for you. Plenty of fluids during this pandemic. But yeah, drink lots of water, lots of green, healthy, leafy vegetables. The rainbow colours, plenty of nutrients and nutrition into you. Sunshine on your face, just nurture you. But then listen to your gut. You know, we talk about our gut instinct. We know instinctively, intuitively, everything we need to know. We have everything that we need at our disposal. We have been caught in a very busy, hectic world that has caused us to stop listening to ourselves. We expect to be told to do stuff. We wait for a reason why we should do things. And now's the time to go on your own retreat, go on your own journey into you. Find some quiet time and reconnect with you. Reconnect with who you are. Some of it will be painful. It's okay. All of it will be beautiful. So just take the time over these next few weeks to breathe, to be calm, to be quiet, to laugh, to play, to exercise, definitely exercise, to be outdoors, get sunshine on your face every day, to feel the wind in your hair, to touch we're keeping our social distancing, but touch your animals, touch yourself, you know, just touch your skin, feel your skin, feel you, rub your shoulders, rub your arms, touch. Keep safe, keep distant, and keep healthy. Wishing you all the very, very best during this time.